Welcome back to the breakdown. Today we're going to be doing a breaking news opinion episode. So there's something that happened this week that really jumped to my attention. The fact that AOL and Yahoo are both up for sale, either in part or in whole. I'll talk about that in a minute. But this really piqued my interest. As somebody who's owned a large online website and built it from scratch into something large, it amazes me when I see these big websites like AOL and Yahoo, and they are large, with Yahoo bringing in over 100 million visitors every month, struggling to the point that their parent company, in this case Verizon, is selling them again. Now, Yahoo's actually been up for sale quite a few times over its history, been purchased and passed around and moved around. So what's happening here? Why is such a large website seemingly not profitable enough for Verizon to say it's worth our time to continue to own these websites? So we're going to be breaking this down here, let you know my opinion on it. I'd love to hear your opinion. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. But if you're new here, first, do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here as I grow this new channel, my new hobby here. I would really appreciate it, and hopefully we can help you learn something new. All right, so this week it was reported that Verizon's looking to sell off many of their media properties, several websites they own, and importantly, I think the two that jumped out at me was AOL and Yahoo. Both AOL and Yahoo are up for sale right now, and I think Yahoo may be the most interesting one. Yahoo brings in over 100 million visitors every month as of late last year. That's a lot of people. And if just on eyeballs with eyeball ads, that's a remarkable amount of money. Even if you're just using an open market like Google Ads or one of the other resale markets, you're not direct selling your own ads. That's a lot of eyeballs to sell right there. So what's happening? Well, I think there's quite a few things here. But I think one of the main things is bad purchases. Both these companies are saddled with a lot of debt, especially Yahoo, from bad purchases. A couple big ones. Flickr, hugely expensive purchase. Does anybody think of Flickr anymore? I know within the photographic community it's kind of big. Most people don't really use Flickr anymore. Tumblr. Remember Tumblr? Bought for over $1 billion about 8 or so years ago. Sold recently just for a few million, just a fraction of what was purchased for 8 years ago. Yahoo has a history of buying companies and nosediving them. Just to be honest, so I'm just a regular Joe now. My personal opinion, Yahoo is really bad at buying companies and nosediving it. Now, a lot of this happened before Verizon ever bought them. But I think Verizon could have done a better research on the companies to say, hey, there's a lot of bad assets here that aren't really worth what they paid for. So Yahoo has $1 billion on the books for Tumblr. That's a lot of write-off. That's a lot of debt. Plus you factor in a lot of severance packages, a lot of contracts that were very expensive. Back in the early days of technology, people who were actually skilled in this kind of stuff were in high demand. Today, not quite as much. There are a lot more people who are capable of doing this work sometimes than there's actual jobs, which has forced the price down. The days of having very basic computer networking skills leading to a wildly expensive contract to work for a company are drying up to a point. Yeah, you can still make good money if you're really good at it, but it wasn't that long ago where if you had a heartbeat, you knew a little bit about programming, a little bit about network management and the like, you could get a great 6+ figure job working with these companies with a lot of stock, a lot of options. That's kind of dried up. But these companies are still saddled with a lot of older contracts. A lot of people went in this field because they saw 6, 7, 8 figures a year in doing this kind of work. Well, that's not the case anymore. I know there still is. I get it. I know I'm over exaggerating, oversimplification may be better. But it is overall a big trend in the industry. This idea that you're just going to be good at technology and you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or more isn't there. But Yahoo and others are saddled with old contracts, paying a lot of times people a lot more than maybe they're worth in the current market. I think that's really what's hurting Yahoo here. Yahoo, if it had no debt as a company, would probably be extremely profitable. But buying things like Flickr and Tumblr and so many others at exaggeratedly high prices and bidding wars, then taking the product like Tumblr and nosediving it. Now, some of that had to happen in Tumblr. Maybe it wasn't quite what they wanted as it relied too much on an area that ended up being toxic for them and they had to ban it. And it turned out when you banned it, you banned a lot of your traffic. But that really hurt them. I think AOL has similar problems. AOL bought a lot of very expensive media companies with a huge amount of overhead and is struggling on that. And I think with that purchase and everything combined, Verizon is saying, hey, the amount of money that we can bring from this is just not worth it for us. A lot of businesses run into this, right? Verizon's a big company. They have a lot of different sectors. They have their 5G, their home internet, all kinds of different things out there. I just think that Verizon is saying, hey, you know, AOL, you're just not worth it to us, to be honest with you. That when we look at our different sections of the business, when we consider what is profitable to us, you're just not worth our time. And that's something a lot of businesses have to do. You only have so many people, you can only put so much effort into each area. When you sit down on your books and you say, okay, it's profitable, but the profit margin versus the overall expenditure on it is relatively small. In the case of Yahoo, well, it may be still making some money. When you look at the fact that, man, we got this massive amount of debt that we have to pay. And if anything would ever go negative, we could be in trouble with this. And I think that's what Verizon's looking at. Now, the tough part here is Yahoo, AOL, they're actually very big websites still, a lot of traffic. Yes, people still go to AOL, but overall, they're just not big enough to justify their attention. What do I think will happen with the companies? Well, I expect that there'll be a lot of bidders for them. Problem is the people with the money may bring in some issues. Would not surprise me though if somebody like Microsoft jumps in there and buys it. Bing is a big focus on Microsoft. Buying Yahoo, bringing it over to Microsoft may be worth it. There was talk of this a few times. I think Yahoo did switch over to the Bing search engine from Google at one point. It's been a long time since Yahoo actually ran their own back end of their search engine. It used to be Yahoo had a search engine of its own. Now it's just kind of a front and does search based off of other ones. I believe it's currently using Bing. If I'm wrong on that, please comment, let me know. But the Yahoo Mail is still massive. Tons of people still have Yahoo Mail accounts. I do. I have a junk account for Yahoo Mail. I've actually had the same Yahoo Mail account since 1998. It's a junk account now. It's that website, when a website asks me for an email so I can read something, do something, comment something I want to do, it's the email address I give out so my main email accounts don't get full of spam, but it's there. You got many other things. Yahoo Calendar, Yahoo Sports is huge, Yahoo news articles and more are massive, bringing in, as I said, over 100 million visitors every month. Be interesting to see how this plays out. Overall though, the debt of these companies may make it very difficult. Well, I may be buying 100 million, but if I have to absorb a huge amount of debt, is it worth it? Is it worth it for me to come in here and buy this when I could put my money, instead of buying you, into my own existing company and build it from scratch? We may see some hedge funds, some other departments come in and try to buy them just to try to get into the market where they're currently not. You know, email and other areas are still big. Yahoo still has a surprisingly very favorable image amongst the population. Yahoo and AOL, both amongst a lot of people, are major websites still in their mind, even if they don't go there often. Maybe a new owner can rekindle it, regroup it. But we've seen recently that Yahoo and others have been trying to cut costs. Yahoo just announced that they're shutting down Yahoo Answers, which I think is awful. If you watched my podcast from a few weeks ago, I talked about burning the Alexander Library. That Yahoo's basically doing it. All these great things from the 2000s and on, where people would ask a question and other people would answer it, is a huge database of knowledge. Yahoo's kind of said, well, we want to cut costs, we're going to shut that down. Doesn't surprise us that they're now up for sale. But what will happen? So it looks like it's an option in a few ways. Now it's been reported that it's up in parts, and that is true. That it looks like Verizon's kind of looking at maybe selling parts of Verizon, or excuse me, parts of AOL and parts of Yahoo. But it also looks like they're looking at selling the whole thing if the price is right. Money talks, right? Anything's for sale if you have the right amount of money. I've learned that in my life. But I think that's kind of where they are. If you are willing to pay a lot, I think Verizon would be happy to sell you all of Yahoo and all of AOL. But if you're not, and you're looking at just buying some of the profitable sections, that will happen. Now, I think that's the worst thing for the end consumer. If Yahoo sells off just their profitable parts and it's left with the unprofitable, it wouldn't surprise me if Yahoo just shrivels into nothing. If Yahoo Sports and other areas are no longer Yahoo Sports and other areas, the future of Yahoo is definitely in doubt. So let me know what you think. This is my opinion. I'd love to hear from you on what you think about Yahoo and others going out of business. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. I'll be back with another video real soon, and let me know if you enjoy these breaking news kind of response thought pattern videos as I give you my thoughts on what's happening in the world around us. Thanks for your support. Hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. Take care, everybody.